Michel Foucault's The Sociology of Surveillance. Michel Foucault was one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century, and his ideas about power, control, and knowledge changed how people understand modern society. One of his most fascinating ideas is the concept of surveillance, the way societies watch and monitor individuals. Foucault did not think of surveillance as only cameras, police, or spies. Instead, he believed that surveillance is built into the very structure of modern life. His idea helps us understand how we are constantly being observed, measured, and judged by systems of power that we often do not even notice. To understand what Foucault meant by surveillance, we first need to look at his idea of power. For him, power is not something that only rulers, kings, or governments possess. Instead, power exists everywhere, in schools, hospitals, workplaces, families, and even in personal relationships. Power does not always come from force or violence. Sometimes, it works quietly through observation, discipline, and control. He believed that modern societies control people not just through punishment but by shaping their behavior so that they act in socially acceptable ways. Foucault explained this through a powerful image called the panopticon. This idea came from a design by the philosopher Jeremy Bentham, who imagined a circular prison with a central watchtower. In the middle, there is a guard who can see every prisoner, but the prisoners cannot see the guard. Because they never know when they are being watched, they begin to control their own behavior, acting as if they are being observed all the time. Foucault used this idea as a metaphor for modern societies. He believed that schools, hospitals, offices, and even social media platforms operate in similar ways. People behave properly because they feel they might be watched or judged, even if no one is actually observing them at the moment. This system of self-control, according to Foucault, is far more effective than traditional punishment. In older societies, punishment was public and violent, such as executions or torture, to make an example of those who disobeyed. But modern societies have moved from punishing the body to disciplining the mind. Instead of hurting people physically, they train them mentally to obey rules and follow norms. Through surveillance, societies create individuals who monitor themselves, follow laws, and perform their roles without needing constant supervision. Foucault's ideas are not limited to prisons. He pointed out that schools train students to follow schedules, obey authority, and behave according to social expectations. Hospitals keep detailed records of patients' bodies, behaviors, and emotions, turning individuals into objects of medical observation. Workplaces track performance, attendance, and productivity. Even governments keep citizens under constant observation through censuses, identification cards, and security systems. Foucault called this kind of society a disciplinary society, where people are shaped by invisible systems of power that create order through observation and control. In today's world, Foucault's ideas are more relevant than ever. Surveillance has expanded far beyond prisons or offices. With the rise of digital technology, people are being observed through cameras, online activity, mobile phones, and social media. Every click, search, or post is recorded somewhere. Foucault's theory helps us understand that this digital surveillance is not only about gathering data, it is also about shaping behavior. For example, people may act differently online because they know they are being watched. They might try to present the best version of themselves, hide their true feelings, or follow trends to fit in. Governments and corporations now have more power than ever to collect and use information about individuals. Foucault would say that this is not only a technological issue but also a social one. Surveillance produces a kind of social order where people learn what is acceptable and what is not. When individuals know that their actions are being tracked, they tend to conform. This form of power is subtle but powerful because it does not need physical force. It works through awareness and self-regulation. Foucault also believed that surveillance is connected to knowledge. Those who control information also control how people see the world. For instance, when institutions collect data about crime, health, or education, they define what is normal and what is abnormal. A person who behaves differently from the norm might be labeled as deviant, sick, or unproductive. Once labeled, such individuals can be disciplined or corrected through social institutions. In this way, knowledge becomes a tool of power. It helps decide who is included, who is excluded, and who gets to define reality. This is why Foucault's theory of surveillance is not only about cameras or databases but also about the social mechanisms that make us obedient. It is about how people internalize control and start to watch themselves. He argued that modern humans are like prisoners in the panopticon, always feeling the presence of an unseen observer. This awareness changes how we speak, dress, behave, and even think. The most powerful form of control, he said, is when people no longer need to be told what to do because they already regulate themselves. However, Foucault did not see this situation as entirely hopeless. He believed that once people understand how surveillance and power operate, they can begin to resist them. Awareness allows individuals to question the systems that watch them and the reasons behind that observation. It can inspire new ways of living that promote freedom and equality rather than silent obedience. In short, Foucault's sociology of surveillance helps us see that control in modern society does not only come from laws or police. It comes from everyday practices that make people disciplined and predictable. Whether it is in school, work, hospitals, or online, we are all part of a network of observation that shapes who we are and how we behave. By becoming aware of these invisible systems, people can start to think critically about how much power they give to institutions and how they can protect their privacy and individuality. If you found this explanation helpful and learned something new about Michel Foucault's ideas on surveillance and society, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep and simple explanations of complex social theories. Your support helps us bring more educational content to everyone who wants to understand the world of sociology better.